Hey everybody, it's the Kindred system. I know we've been away for a while, but there's been a lot happening. Right now, I feel like the best way that I can show up is to talk about what it means when a survivor has to leave their family of origin to survive. I am still on a journey of discovering what it means, not only what it means to that little girl that I was, or I grew up completely innocent, not knowing that the people around me were actually people that were exploiting me and that they didn't have the same kind of love that I did, that the commitment that I had to care for them and protect them was actually oftentimes used against me. I and the rest of the Kindred system are, I guess you could say, the evidence that escaped. And we weren't meant to escape, because this is a multi-generational family pedophile ring that the Kindred system escaped from. And that's why my book series, our book series, is actually a trilogy. It's a necessary trilogy for public safety and also to be a beacon of light to show people that no matter where you've come from, no matter what has happened to you, that you are still worthy of being loved, and you're worthy of having a life where you feel safe and at peace, and you're worthy of a life free of abuse. It took me a while because I was born into a family where there was ritual abuse, torture on a regular basis. I came to find through video recordings, littles speaking on my behalf, speaking about the horrors that they went through. 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and on and on. And in my case, again, it's actually, more extreme than a lot of cases. And yet I don't want anyone to feel excluded, because I'm not an elitist when it comes to this. I'm just about sharing the different parts of the journey, and everybody has their own place on the spectrum of being a survivor, and there's no contest whatsoever when it comes to the pain that people endure growing up in these environments. First, it was the stage of accepting that I had a system and recognizing that my system was there to be the protection I needed and be the caregiver. I have a caregiver. I have Derek, who's a great caregiver. I have Dagger, who's the protector of the system. I have the littles who, unfortunately, but fortunately, held the trauma for me. So as a toddler, I didn't have to go through that, and my psyche could survive. So in the craziest sense, it's like God knew, and whether or not you believe in the God of the Bible or not, I happen to. So I'm going to speak from a place of faith. But it's like somehow God knew that one day I was going to have to walk away. But the Kindred system, Kindred means family. Within the Kindred system, I became my own family. I became my own family. And you know what? So many survivors have to do that. When they want so desperately to go back to their families of origins for comfort, and then they find again that maybe it will feel good for a little while, but it'll always go back to the same thing, especially if you decide at any time in the journey that you no longer agree with how things are going, or you have discovered and felt the exploitation yourself and you're going to do something to stand up against it. That's when things can start changing. You'll go back into the loop with these people. They'll punish you. They will scapegoat you. They'll triangulate you. And triangulating is like, taking people and pitting them against each other and causing that division so that all of the members within the cult setting or the family dysfunctional setting, they're all divided. They're all busy hearing the information, not from each other, but from the perpetrators and the families themselves. So you have victims who are actually isolated, even though there are many of them, and especially in family units. In my family, I grew up with my siblings. I'm still, thank God, incredibly close to my brother. He would manage to get away at 18. Thank God. My other siblings, I don't have relationships with them. And it's not because I didn't want them. It was because every time I reached out for comfort and every time I reached out to try to get some humanity, to meet them at any level of humanity when it came to the truth, the absolute truth of what was being hidden in the family, the child abuse, the pedophilia, the sex trafficking. I mean, all the things that were the reasons why we're the Kindred system. And they couldn't handle it. And so, they were trained from a very young age. And this is the case with many of these groups, is there's always got to be like this insulation. So there's insulation from within the family, right? So you don't have people talking and the perpetrators can control the information. And then I'm going to give you an example. So if a perpetrator is saying to Sally, okay, we'll say Sally is person A, and then we'll say Benny is person B. So if a perpetrator is seeing that Benny is going off course, could, possibly influence Sally, person A, and can lead things off of course so they no longer have the power and control, then that perpetrator will start putting information into person A about person B and start creating division. And this works as a way to distract from the abuse that's happening in the home. It creates division based upon lies, not by usually the people themselves, but lies by the perpetrators themselves. So that instead of actually holding these perpetrators accountable, all they have done is they have used the members or family members in the system or the family system to do their bidding. And I mean, I know the term narcissist has been used and overused a million times, but I can tell you in my own personal situation that I am absolutely the scapegoat of my family of origin. Why? And it's a terrible position to be in. Why would anyone want to be in that position? Nobody would want to. It's a position where people tell you that it's all your fault, that you're evil, that you're sick, that no one wants to talk to you. All of the things that the perpetrators put into the heads of these people. And these people, if they are around the perpetrators long enough and days go by and weeks go by and months go by and years go by and decades go by, it becomes almost like this solidified part of this person's personality that's within this family group. So now you have this dysfunctional family that's operating almost like on autopilot, like it's just automatic. No one even has to think anymore about it. It simply just is. It runs and it functions. The perpetrators don't even have to be living in the same area. They can go off somewhere, and yet their program is still running, because when they're not home, oh boy, no one's thinking about getting out from underneath the control of this terrible situation. They're talking about how Benny is a piece of shit and he's the reason for all the problems. And families that need scapegoats are the families that are guilty of abominable sins and grave abuse of not only children and toddlers, but vulnerable adults. In my situation, that was the case, and I'm not backing down from it. I do have dissociative identity response. I don't like to call it DID because I feel like pathologizing a normal and healthy, adaptive, and necessary response to life-threatening trauma with no family to help me, except my mom, who occasionally was able to help me when she was around. I had fucking nobody but my kindred system and my God. That's how I got out alive. And everybody's journey's different, but I just wanted to say for the record that no matter what they tell you, no matter if they tell you that you're sick, that you're evil, that no one wants you, it's all lies. That's all lies that the abusers have been doing through these people. It's like they make these people do their bidding for them. Somewhere along the line, though, those same people, they have their journey too, and they're gonna have to face the things that they've said and done while being in that family situation or that or cult situation. I've been called many things, like a liar, a troublemaker, a slanderer. No, I speak the truth. And in this video, I'm going to show a brief switch, and it's not for exploitative purposes because systems are actually supposed to be remained hidden for the protection of them from perpetrators. But I want to give a voice to the most innocent part of myself, and the most and basically exude the innocence of those who are oftentimes captured in these sick and disgusting families who abuse children. I'm not afraid to tell you. I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. Even if you think that I'm a freak show. But my dad hurt me badly. He put me in burning baths and he made me take pictures, and then he tells people that I just like boys, but I really don't. I don't like to have to be with boys. It's scary to me. But he didn't care that I got bad things happening to my body, like I would have like these red rashes come all over me and I would swell everywhere, and then I swelled down there in the part where they put their thing in there, and I didn't want to marry this guy named Brandon, but they gave me alcohol and they made me drunk, and I don't know, they sold me to him. I didn't like him. He's gross. He was an old man. I don't want to be with him. But my sisters didn't believe me. They didn't believe me because they didn't get out. But I did tell the truth, and I won't stop telling the truth. I learned for the first time that if I stay away from the people that abuse me, that I can heal, and so can Betty, the daughter, the I guess you say, I don't know, yeah, like my daughter, but I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do. I walked away from the mall so that I could survive physically and emotionally, so that I'll never be abused again. And even though I wanted to pull my sister from the fire and I wanted to pull other people from the fires, I realized that in doing so, especially at this time, that I was just trying to pull people, and it wasn't working because they themselves are the burning house. And I'm not going to go in there and kill myself over people who have abused me my whole life and who helped my daughter Bethany deteriorate to the point of being in a wheelchair. My dad sex trafficked me through the little that you just met. I am a sex trafficking survivor, and I will not stop until I get justice for what has happened to me and what has happened to my daughter. And I'm here to speak the truth about the pain of what it means to have to leave everything you've known behind. But I'm here to encourage you and tell you at the same time that you can fucking do it. You can do it. These cults, these closed circuits that are called families, what they rely on is manipulating your attachment needs. Because if they think that they can make you into this person that's dependent, and you're afraid because you don't want to be abandoned, and they don't want you to find a safe place. One of the number one things that you need to do if you want to get out of a situation like this, if you even have an inkling that you are in a bad situation like this, is you need to find a safe place and safe people. That might start with getting in contact with the women's shelter and getting an advocate assigned to you. It could start out by, going to church if that's what you believe. Anything that's going to keep you out of isolation and that's going to help your brain not be closed in and locked in on this I'm telling you, sick programming. They programmed me with princess programming when I was a little girl. They bought me so many things. They told me that I deserved this big life. I was going to have this princess life. I had dolls and bears and this beautiful blonde hair and bright blue eyes. Oh my goodness, did my family have plans for me? But God's plan overrules. I am not going to stay in the sex slavery trade. I will not support it. And I will continue to expose it. And I will continue to do my part to be an abolitionist in all of this. And because of this, I remain a scapegoat to this day. And that's okay, because that means, you know what? Those people aren't my real family then, because real family doesn't abuse you. Real family does not exploit you. Real family never, ever, ever, ever throws you under the bus, isolates you. That's sick. I'll never be a part of anything like that again. I am so thankful I got out. I am free. I am free, and I am never, ever going back. And I pray that the people that are left behind, I pray that they find their way out. I really do. But I'm not going to be sorry for speaking the truth. Thanks for listening. Thank you for allowing me to share my vulnerability. And I wish the best for you wherever you are in your life. And I'm going to do my very best to have the Kindred system update more. We've just been going through a lot because we're part of an investigative journalist, investigation. And part of that includes the story. And still writing the trilogy series. And there is, what the industry is telling me, likely to be a big bidding war from the big five in New York for this book series because it's so vast. And in the end, I have a new family of friends who I've known for up to 25 years that are my sisters. So it's like God has been so good to me. He's given me a replacement family for my old one. I don't need to be stuck in the abuse anymore. I can truly thrive and have a family that deserves me and that I deserve. And I hope the same for you. You please take care, okay? Bye.